you do the assignment later. All right. Okay. Today I'm going to be working through a composition with you that will very likely be something that is very close to the exams in terms of the format. Okay. Now you remember in the previous compositions we were doing, the three pictures were not really linked, right? They were three separate pictures, right? But on your Tuesday examination, it'll be easier than that. The three pictures will be linked. Okay, something like what you see on the screen here. Okay, so this will be very close to what will appear in your exams in terms of the format. The three pictures will be linked. Okay, so you can actually use all three pictures if you want to. Can you see how the three pictures are linked, everybody? It's very obvious, right? Okay. And the theme of the story is an incident in a canteen. Okay. Where is this canteen? And anybody? Where can I find this canteen? Okay. The clue is quite clear, right? From the way that they are dressed, right? Yeah. Can I have Janessa to answer the question, please?
School canteen.
It is a school canteen, right? Very good, right? So it's not just any random canteen, it's a canteen in school. So this happens during school hours, all right? So this is obviously not going to be a weekend, it's going to be a weekday, right? Because we don't have school during the weekend. Now, I want us all to look here. Whenever we look at the picture, right, and how do we plan the first 5 minutes, right? We need to look at the keywords, right? So in this case, the keyword is incident and canteen, right? Do you all know what the word incident means? You all know it, right? Okay. Can an incident be positive and negative? It's usually what? Negative, right? Okay, it's usually something going wrong, right? When we say it's an incident, it sounds a lot like an accident, right? Okay, so it's something that is negative. It's usually something negative. So this is a problem that happens, right? And where does it happen? It happens in a canteen. Can I change the location to any other place? No, right? If I write about an incident at the beach, or I write about an incident at home, then what will happen to me? Will I be able to pass my composition? No, right? Yeah, because I'll be out of point. My whole story is in the wrong location. So the location is given to you, you must use it, right? So if it's an incident in school, if it's an incident in the canteen, if it's an incident at home, it's an incident in a beach, you must follow the setting that's given to you. Is that clear, everybody? So the keyword guides your writing. So everything is going to happen in a canteen. It cannot happen anywhere else, okay? And it must be an incident, meaning something must go wrong, right? It cannot be a happy day in a canteen, you trying food and enjoying the beautiful canteen food. No, it cannot be about that, right? It has to be about something going wrong. And of course, you see I've circled the picture, right, where something goes wrong. Okay, so if you have to choose one picture out of three, boys and girls, always choose the picture with the problem. Is that clear? Right? I say again, if you have to choose one picture out of three, you don't want to use all three, then you have to choose the picture that has the problem. In this case, the problem is a girl losing her balance and falling. Does this sound familiar, boys and girls? Did we just write a composition about somebody losing their balance and falling? Yeah? Can we reuse the same vocabulary, right? Now, instead of an old lady, it's a young girl, right? Yeah, but is it different? No, right? It's the same kind of description. So I want all of you to remember what you learn in one composition can very easily be transferred into another, okay? And especially things like falling, right? That you have people falling in every composition, right? So you can use the theme and the vocabulary we developed in the falling composition, the old lady falling, right? And then her groceries like rolling all over the place. We can use the same kind of vocabulary here when we talk about this girl falling in the canteen, right? And trust me, many compositions have people falling. It's a bit strange, right? Right? It's a bit strange, right? But a lot of compositions have people falling, right? So if you have a good grasp of the vocabulary about how someone falls, I remember Mr. Bang dramatized it for you, right? Okay, cannot just he fell, right? Suddenly teleport to the floor, right? It doesn't work that way, right? There must be a step-by-step description of how the person fell. Do y'all remember that, everybody? Are y'all confident about doing that? Yeah, right. Okay, it's pretty good because we've done it a number of times already. So here is another example of somebody falling, right? And then in later compositions where we practice, even after the exam, we're still going to be writing compositions, okay? Because we want to keep practicing and getting better. It's not just for the exams, right? Okay, we'll still find people falling. Okay, people will be falling left, right, and center in all our compositions until we get really good at writing about people falling down. Okay, then I'll move on to something else. Okay, everybody ready? Are we ready to go? Now, this is a question for all of you. Okay, and this has to do with the third point. Okay, do you understand what I mean by do not start with waking up? Do you understand? Can anybody tell me why I don't start with waking up here? Anybody? Who wants to give me an idea about why I should not start with waking up? Crystal Bell?
Because if you start with waking up, you need to talk a lot until you get to the point.
Yeah, correct. Do you all agree with Crystal Bell? Javian, please stop annotating on the screen. I know it was accidental, but please don't touch the screen. All right, Javian, please don't do that. Thank you. Okay, Crystal Bell is absolutely right. Huh? We cannot start because it's too far away. I have to spend too much time writing to get to the point where the girl falls down, right? That's one very important point. Anybody else has any other thoughts about why I should not start with waking up? Gautam, go ahead. Gautam, I can't hear you, I'm sorry. Janessa, go ahead.
Because it's not an important point of the story.
Very good. It's not relevant to the story, right? The story is about an incident at the canteen. But I write about waking up at home, brushing my teeth, coming down for breakfast. Do you think any of that is relevant? Do you think I'll get marks for any of that? No, right? So I want to get quickly to the canteen where the main action will happen. Easton, did you raise your hand? No? Okay, then let me move on. So very good. Do you all understand? There are some stories where you can start waking up. For example, we did the birthday celebration. Remember? And that one we could start with waking up because, you know, we wake up in our own home where the celebration is going to take place, right? Then we're very excited. But there are some stories like this, which happen in school, where we cannot start with waking up. Okay? So the question now becomes, where do we start? Where can we start that's as close to this action as possible? Where can we start? Do we start in the canteen? No, we don't start in the canteen. Very good. I'm glad we are agreeing on that. Cheyenne, where should we start?
In class.
In class. And what time should we start the story? Should we start at the beginning of the day? Should we start the story at the beginning of the day? What do you think? Eric Shah?
In the afternoon?
In the afternoon, just before dismissal. Are you sure? Is this when the story takes place? At dismissal time? Not really, right? Likely not, right? Shupo, go ahead.
The time when it's almost recess.
Yes, right. Because this will likely be taking place during recess, right? When we buy food and, you know, when we eat, right? So that's probably going to be recess. And I want to be just before recess. So I can introduce all my characters and the setting before I go into the story. I cannot start in the canteen because it'll be too abrupt, right? It'll be too abrupt. I won't know what's going on, right? So a good time is just before, as close to the picture as possible, but not exactly at the picture. In this case, well done, everybody, okay? And this is part of my 5-minute planning, right? I have to first ask myself, what is the time closest to the scene of the picture I've chosen? So I must keep the keyword in mind. I must look at the picture, keep it in mind. I want the picture to appear in my writing. And then I want to go a bit before that to start the story. Got it, everybody? This is my 5-minute planning. This is what I do in the 5 minutes, okay? I think about when to start, where to start, okay? And then I get started, okay? So again, we start simple, okay? I'll start with the weather, right? It was... Okay, what kind of weather do you think it might be? It doesn't really matter, right? In this case, because I'm not going outdoors, right? And I'm not stuck indoors, so it doesn't really matter what weather. Can someone suggest a nice way to begin this? Okay, Crystal Bell, go ahead. You were the first hand up.
Sunny.
Okay, it was a sunny and... Okay, stop. Sunny, Andrea, go ahead. Can't hear you. Can't hear you, Andrea. You're very soft. I can hardly hear you.
It was a sunny and bright day when there was a breeze.
Okay, all right. It was a breezy. But you know, I just realized something. This is part of the planning also. I just realized something. Actually, the weather does matter, right? Because if you look at the picture I've chosen, right, what does the girl slip on? Do y'all notice that? Do y'all see it? Does that change the weather? Does that kind of change the weather? Right? So it's important to notice the picture, okay? It's important to notice the picture. Claire, what do you think? Claire, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
It was a gloomy and stormy day.
Why do you say gloomy and stormy, Claire? Tell us why.
Because in the second picture, there was a puddle of water that the girl slipped on.
Do you think it would be good, reasonable to expect that rain would cause puddles to form on the floor? Right? Yeah. So that might be, right? Yeah. It might be that the rain kind of like was very heavy and then there are puddles forming even on the canteen floor, right? Yeah. So it is possible. Do you all notice that sometimes during rainy days, some water will also gather on the canteen floor because people walk in and out the canteen, right? Then they bring some water in, right? Yeah. So it's possible. Yes, very good. Andrea, you raise your hand. Yeah, go ahead.
The rain blew into the canteen.
Okay, can you move the mic closer to your mouth because I can hardly hear you. Just now was good.
The rain blew into the canteen.
Okay, so the rain kind of like flowed into the canteen, is it? Is that what you said? Okay, all right. It was a gloomy and stormy Monday afternoon. I don't know why Mr. Pang always likes to start with Monday, but anyway, let's start with Monday, okay? It was a gloomy and stormy Monday afternoon, right? My classmates and I. Okay, now notice I've included myself as the character, right? I can put myself as the main character. Why is this important? Because I want to include my feelings, right? Okay, I want to include my feelings. So it's easier when I'm the first person. I am the one experiencing the story. And a lot of you all like to say, me and my classmates. Don't do that, okay? My classmates and I is always the subject. Okay, I must always be used when you're talking about the subject. So my classmates and I, okay, my classmates and I, right, were waiting impatiently, right? So we are very, very impatient. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Yes, Janessa.
Recess.
Yes. And what signals recess?
A bell rings.
Yes. Okay. For the recess bell to ring. All right. So we are in class. All right. We're waiting impatiently for the recess bell to ring. So this tells me that I'm in a school and I'm waiting for recess to happen, right? Okay, Andrea? Yeah.
We were very hungry.
Okay, because we were very hungry, right? Because we were starving, right? So I don't just want to say hungry, but I want to say like starving. So I use exaggeration, right? In this case, to show you how hungry I am. We were starving, okay? Right, excellent, right. Now I'm going to go into the movement, right? So finally, the bell rang and the whole class, what did the whole class do when the bell rang? What did the whole class do? Okay, yes, Gautam. Sorry, Gautam, I can't hear you. Cheyenne?
Rush to the canteen.
Before they rush to the canteen, what happened first? Imagine their reactions, okay? Imagine their reactions, okay? Don't immediately go to the next step. Always think about how the people react before they start doing whatever they're doing. Reaction before movement, okay? Andrea, go ahead.
Heaved a sign of relief.
Okay, the whole class heaved a sigh of relief. Okay, before lining up quickly to go to the canteen. Okay, right? Now here will be a good time to describe the weather being very wet, right? Because I want to set up the scene for the puddles forming later. Am I right? I don't want to suddenly just say that the puddles form, right? So the rain was falling in sheets like a curtain. And the floor of the corridors were wet with puddles, okay? So I'm going to set the scene, right? So if the corridor is wet with puddles, then the canteen will also be wet with puddles, right? Okay, because of the heaviness of the rain that's falling, okay? So this is my first paragraph. I've already set the scene. Now I go to my second paragraph, okay? And can you see I'm actually quite fast. I've done it in 5 minutes, but for you all, maybe 10 minutes, okay? One paragraph, 10 minutes, remember? Okay, one paragraph, 10 minutes, more than enough time, right, for you all to construct your paragraph. Okay, next paragraph is when the problem is introduced, right? Okay, so I'm going to start to talk about the canteen already. Okay, the canteen, right, was how do I describe when someplace is very busy, that there are a lot of people, right? It's you know, like extremely buzzing and stuff like that. Eriksha, go ahead.
The canteen was packed like sardines.
Okay, packed like sardines, not packed with sardines. Sardines cannot go to the canteen, okay? Yeah, it's packed like sardines, not packed with sardines. Okay, good. Lorraine, do you have something else to add besides packed like sardines?
It was very crowded.
Okay, the canteen was crowded with students and packed like sardines. Okay. All right. Okay, Gautam, yes, you raise your hand. Go ahead.
The canteen was as busy as a market.
Okay. All right. So crowded with students packed like sardines. Okay, I think that's enough now. Okay, but thank you. So remember, 2 expressions are generally enough. Let's not overpack one sentence with too many expressions. Okay, right. So the canteen was crowded, students packed like sardines. I quickly ran over, okay, to my favorite stall. Okay, to Q-U-E-U-E. Okay, up for noodles. Okay, right? What kind of noodles? Can we give some details? Like, can you all suggest what kind of noodles would be a favorite food? Christabel?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Okay, for spaghetti. All right. So maybe I don't want noodles. I want spaghetti. Spaghetti. Okay. See, the spelling is a little bit. Okay, spaghetti. Right. Okay, so. Right. So far, so good. Right. Before. Oh, wait. I think the one spaghetti lah. Noodles with curry noodles. Okay. You know why? Because, right, there must be like the gravy, right? And spaghetti is quite dry, right? If spaghetti fell on you, it probably wouldn't hurt you very much, right? So you want that kind of gravy, right? The hot gravy that will scald you. Am I right? Okay. Something, remember the problem must be big lah. If it's a bit of spaghetti, it will just be messy, but it won't be really, you know, very hurtful lah. So I want something that will cause more damage. Okay, so curry noodles. Okay. So before long, I got my bowl of piping hot noodles. Okay, so it must be very hot, right? So piping hot noodles, because it has to be hot, right? Okay, and began to make my way back to my seat. Okay. Here is where the problem happens, right? Okay, does the problem happen to me or to someone else? To me, right? Yeah. Again, the reason why I want it to happen to me is because I want to describe the pain that I feel, right? I want to describe what goes on in my head, right? The struggle that I face, okay? So it's better when I am the person that is experiencing it so that I can describe it better. Do you all get why I put myself as the main character? Okay, so always put yourself as the main character so that you can more easily describe what you feel. Okay, if you're describing someone else's feelings, it's not as powerful as when you're describing your own. Okay, right. So let's go. Let's remember what was the phrase we used to describe something happening without warning or, you know, unexpectedly. What were some of the phrases? Joshua, go ahead.
Without warning.
Okay, without warning. I want something else besides without warning. I want something a bit more dramatic than without warning. Okay, something a bit more dramatic. Yisin?
All in a sudden.
All in a sudden. Not really. Okay, I need the proper phrasing for that. Not all in a sudden. That's not how we express it. It's all of a sudden, okay? But can I have something else besides that? Does anyone have something different? Janessa?
Out of blue.
Out of the blue? Okay, okay, out of the blue, okay. Out of the blue, okay. I felt my foot, okay? Right, remember the old lady, right? What happened first? What happened with the old lady first? Before she lost her balance, what must happen first? Kaylen, what must happen first?
She stepped into the puddle.
Okay, land or felt my foot step into a puddle of rainwater, right? Okay, so I felt my foot step in because it's wet, right? I can feel the wetness, okay? So I felt my foot step into a puddle of rainwater. Then what happened after that? Can you remember? Okay, Andrea, go ahead. I can't hear you.
I pinwheeled my arms, but I couldn't.
No, before you pinwheel your arms, something must happen first. Remember, I said you don't suddenly just stand there in the spot and start pinwheeling your arms, right? That would be very weird, right? Yeah, before the pinwheeling happens, something must happen first. You see, you're still not fully there. You must break it down even further. You must be very clear about what happened, okay? There's a sequence of events before someone falls, and you must be very clear. You must break it down like a movie. Let's have Javian. Go ahead.
Slip and fall. Slip and fall.
Sorry, what?
Slip and fall.
Slipped and fell. I don't want you to summarize, right? I don't want you to, to suddenly just say I slipped and fell. Then that's it, you're just on the floor already. Don't want, right, Javian? You mustn't summarize the action. You must break it down into discrete steps that happen one after another. So Javian, please go and revise on what we covered in class just yesterday. Okay, please listen carefully, all right? Let's have okay, Jasper, what about you? Can you give us something? Jasper, hurry up.
I slipped and pinwheeled my arms.
Okay, I slipped and lost my, what did I lose? Right? I cannot just slip and then pinwheel my arms, right? Okay, Tammy?
Lost my balance.
Very good, right? So you must lose your balance first before you pinwheel your arms, right? Because when you pinwheel your arms, you're trying to regain your balance, right? You're trying to stabilize yourself, right? But before that, you must have lost your balance first before you can try to regain it, right? If you are already balanced, there's no need to pinwheel your arms, right? It's a bit like extra, okay? So I slipped and lost my balance, okay? I tried to pinwheel my arms to regain my balance, forgetting that I was, what was I holding on to? Right, I forgot that something, right? I forgot something, right? Very important, right? Christabel?
I was holding on to a plate of piping hot noodles.
Okay, of hot noodles. This is when, right? Because when I try to pinwheel my arms, right? That's when the noodles, right, get upset, right? So, would someone like to try describing what happens next? Okay, Gautam, go for it.
I slipped and fell. The noodles backflipped and then landed on me.
Okay, so something to that effect. That sounds like a good one, but I'll try to refine your description, okay? The noodle cannot backflip. A backflip is something that's done by an acrobat, right? So you shouldn't use that word to describe an inanimate object that cannot do its own acrobatics, huh? So what way would I use to describe that action? Gautam is right? That kind of action is kind of what I want to describe. Okay, Andrea, go for it.
Mr. Pang, the words are not properly. It's like turning and I cannot see the words properly.
Everybody, can you all see the words properly? Okay, so it might be your screen, okay, Andrea? It might be your own orientation of the screen. Maybe you can ask Mommy to help you so that your screen is arranged properly, but everybody else seems to be able to see the screen properly. Okay, Yu Kwan, what is it?
Overturn.
Okay, overturn is the correct word. Yes, okay, so maybe the bowl overturn, right? Okay, so let's try to go with the word overturn. Thank you very much, okay? So I fell to the floor, right? Which is what Gautam said, right? With a what? What was the description that we used when we talked about falling to the floor, Tammy?
Fell with a thud.
With a loud thud, right? Okay, yeah, I fell to the floor with a loud thud, right? Okay, so that's possible. Okay, with a loud thud, and the bowl of piping hot curry noodles overturned. Okay, the word was overturned, right, Yuan? And fell on me. Okay, so it overturned and then it fell on me, right? Okay. Scalding hot curry spilled all over my body. Okay, right? This is a problem. Okay, so can you see the problem got worse? At first, the problem was I slipped and fell, right? Then when I slipped and fell, the hot curry noodle fell on me. The problem got even worse. Can y'all see? So problem is introduced, problem gets worse, right? So always try to think about how your problem can get worse before it gets better. Okay, so in this case, first problem fell down. Second problem, curry splashed onto me. Okay, now what reaction would I have as the character when this hot curry splashes onto my body, right? What kind of dramatic action? So you must break it down. You see, you must really describe it. Huh? Okay, Jasper, go ahead.
I screamed in pain.
Okay, any other words to describe besides using the very common word screamed in pain? All right, Joshua, go ahead.
Astonished.
Huh? Astonished? No, astonished is too weak a word, right? You are in pain, right? Astonishment is more like surprise. It's not a powerful or strong enough word to convey the pain, the shock, and that kind of experience. Okay, so I wouldn't use the word astonished. Okay, Joshua? No, astonishment is not powerful enough. Okay, I want something stronger that conveys pain. Okay. If not, then we'll just use scream. The same, but Dylan, go ahead.
Agony.
Okay, yes. Okay, so all right, yeah, sure. I screamed in agony. Right? And so what is my reaction when I scream in agony? What's my reaction? What do I do next? Okay, Terence, go ahead. Yeah. Terence, go ahead. Terence, please unmute yourself. Terence, can you hear Mr. Pang? Yeah, can you please unmute yourself and give it a try? What happens after I scream in agony? So I want you to think, and I want you to try. Even if you're not very sure, I want you to give it a try. Okay, Terence, unmute yourself and say something, please. Terence, if you don't know, please unmute and say something.
And in pain.
I'm sorry. In pain? But I already screamed in agony. But agony is already pain. I want something else besides screaming in pain. What else do I do at that point when I feel the hot curry scalding me, right? I want you to think about it, okay? Mute yourself, please. Okay, Andrea, go ahead.
And burst into tears.
All right, good, right? Okay, so that's the natural reaction, right? When I'm in extreme pain, I would tend to cry, right? I think most of us will tend to do that, right? When we're in extreme pain, all right? Okay, let's see, and burst into tears, okay? Yeah. Okay, so this is my second paragraph, done already. Okay, and can you all see I also spent about 10 minutes doing this, right? So this paragraph is a bit longer, right? So I can spend a bit more time doing this because this paragraph is where the problem gets introduced and it gets worse. Okay, so this part you can write longer. Can you see it's twice as long as my previous paragraph? Can you all see that? The second paragraph must always be longer. Why? Because that's where your action takes place. That's where the most exciting thing happens. So spend more time there. Okay, if your introduction is longer than your second paragraph, something is wrong. Okay, so try to keep your introduction short and get to your rising action and your climax and spend more time there. Okay, that's the important paragraph. Now I can start to think about how this problem will be solved. Okay, I want to solve the problem because the problem got worse already. Now I'm going to solve it. Now what or who can solve this problem for me? Okay, what or who can solve this problem for me? Okay, let's have a few suggestions and then let's pick. Okay, yeah. Shan, what do you think? See, now I'm going to call people who don't raise their hands. Shan, what do you think? What or who can solve this problem?
My classmates helped me out.
Okay, my classmates can come in to help me. Very good. That's one way to solve the problem. What other ways can we depend on? Janessa?
The teacher.
The teacher in charge or on duty in the canteen can help me out. Good. That's another solution. Who else can help me besides my classmates, my teachers? Who else would be on duty in the canteen? You all should know, right? Yes. Titus, what do you think?
The prefects on duty.
Right. Do you all know that there are prefects on duty in the canteen for every recess? You all know that, right? A lot of times they are your friends, right? Okay. So they can be your classmates and the prefect on duty. They could help you. Okay, excellent. So let's combine all of this, shall we? Okay. The more the merrier, right? Why not have all three groups of people help out? Correct? Why just choose one? We can use all of them, right? And the more we choose, the more we can write. Okay. So my classmates rushed over along with the prefects who were on duty. Okay. Okay, remember, you are all students. Your classmates are students. They are not doctors. Remember, we talked about this, right? They cannot perform surgery on you and make you all better, right? They cannot remove your scalded wounds and, clean your wound and everything. They are not trained to do that, right? So you cannot say that, oh, my classmates slapped a plaster on me and, they made me feel better immediately, right? Cannot, right? That's not what classmates do. That's not what prefects are trained to do. So you must be realistic in your story, okay? They are not trained doctors, okay? Neither is your teacher in charge, right? So what can they do? What can they do? Are they going to leave you sleeping on the ground with curry all over you, right? They're not going to leave you there, right? So what do they need to do first? What's the first thing that they need to do? Shupo?
Call the teacher first.
No, they're not going to leave you on the floor and go and call the teacher, right? They look, oh, look, there's a person on the floor with curry all of them. Then let's run off to tell the teacher. No, you don't do that. That's so mean. You don't leave the person lying in a puddle of curry while you go and run off to tell the teacher, right, Shupo? No. What's the first thing you should do when you see someone lying on the ground in a puddle of hot curry? Please don't run off and tell the teacher. The person will feel very abandoned. Cheyenne? Cheyenne?
They help you out.
Yeah, so you help them up, right? You help them up, right? Hello, people. Do you understand? Do you all agree with me? Right? Please don't see someone fall down and then go and run off and tell the office. You go and help the person up, okay? Right? Go and help the person up. That should be your instinctive, immediate response. I say again, that should be your instinctive, immediate response. You help the person up. Don't leave the person there. Help the person up first, okay? They immediately helped me up and remove the bowl of curry. Okay, so they don't want other people to sleep on it, right? They don't want other people to, like kick the bowl around, right? So they removed it, right? Okay. One of my classmates rushed over.
Yeah.
Who was that? Titus, please mute yourself. That was you, Titus. Please don't do that. Rushed over to inform the teacher who was on duty. Okay, let's give the teacher a name. What's the teacher's name? Janessa?
Mrs. Capybara.
Okay, Mrs. Capybara. Okay, all right. So Mrs. Capybara, right? Okay, Capybara makes an appearance. Yay, okay. So Mrs. Capybara, right? She brought me to, where did she bring me, Andrea?
The sick bay and called the ambulance.
Excuse me. She brought me to the sick bay. Yes, I agree. But do you call an ambulance because someone is scolded, my dear? If you are at home and you get a cut on your finger, do you call the ambulance? I think the ambulance got more important things to do, right? Like serious accidents and natural disasters and, like road accidents, right? Please don't call the ambulance just because you got scolded, okay, boys and girls, right? it needs a much more serious thing, like you break your ankle, or you fall from a height. Those are things that you will call the ambulance for, but please don't call the ambulance for minor things like scalds and burns and cuts. Okay, everybody, clear? Reserve the ambulance for more important things. All right, otherwise the poor ambulance will be rescuing cats out of trees, bandaging cuts on your finger, and they won't have time for the more serious accidents. Okay, so she brought me to the sick bay, and right, what did she do? What did she do? Right, she attended to me, right? How did she? Right, maybe wash my wounds, right? Okay, wash my wounds with antiseptic. Okay, now this is a good word to learn, antiseptic. Okay, antiseptic is the kind of medication that kills germs, right? Okay, so that my wounds don't get infected. Okay, yes, Titus, what is it?
Can't you say like the shirt got curry and then she helped you change your shirt?
I'm coming to that. Very good. Yeah, good, Titus. Well, she also got me a clean set, clean uniform to change into, right? Okay, right? Now is a good time to talk about my feelings, right? Okay, after all these things have happened to me, how did I feel? Okay, am I still crying? Okay, what happened? What happened to me? Okay, Dylan, can you tell me what you think my feelings are right now?
I felt better.
Okay, so what's the word to describe when you were in a very difficult situation and now you feel better? What's the word to use to describe that change in your state? Okay, Andrea, go ahead.
I felt relieved that the accident was over.
I felt relieved that the accident was over and I felt better, right? So much better after changing into the new set of clothes, right? Okay, because I'm no longer covered in curry, but I feel much better, right? Now will be a good time for me to go to my last paragraph, which is, right, how the story ends and what lessons I learned, right? Last paragraph, can you see? Mr. Pang is coming to 45 minutes, and I actually took much less time than that, right? Because we only started at about 11:15 to write the story. So I'm taking about half an hour. You all take about 45 minutes, should be no problem, right? 15 minutes extra. So how do I end this story? How do I end what do I do after this? After I change my uniform, what do I do? And then how do I talk about the end, the lesson that I learned at the end? Ericha, go ahead. What do I do?
You thank the teacher.
Yes, very good. I need to thank the students and the teachers who helped me, right? Right. So I returned to the canteen, right? Because that's where they are, right? And thanked my classmates, the prefect, and Mrs. Capybara, right? For helping me when I fell. Okay. Now, remember, at this point in time, have I eaten anything yet? Can you see there's a third picture where your friend goes to buy another bowl of noodles for you? Can you see? Can you see the third picture? So now might be a good time where you can show your kindness of your friends, right? Okay. My best friend, give me a name for best friend. I don't want Capybara anymore. Can you give me somebody else? Okay. Gautam?
Lion?
No one. Not cute enough. Christabel?
Rabbit.
Rabbit? A bit common. No. Janessa?
Hammy.
Hammy?
Yeah, hamster.
Oh, okay. Right. Hammy. All right. Done. Okay. My best friend, Hammy, okay, bought me another bowl of noodles, right? And I was so touched by her act of kindness. Okay, so your best friend is very kind, right? Okay, that day, right? So y'all can always end with that day, right? Okay, so what lesson do I learn from this entire situation? And I'm done, right? Let's end off. Let's see. Kaylan, go ahead.
I learned to be more careful and to be aware of my surroundings.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Why must I be aware of my surroundings? Because of the puddle of water, right? If I had been more alert, right, I would not have stepped into it and triggered this whole sequence of events, right? So I must be more careful, and I must also be more aware of my surroundings, right? Because there's a puddle of water on the floor, right? I could have avoided, okay? And aware of my surroundings. Ta-da! Boys and girls, in half an hour, we have done it together. Good job, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yay. Okay. Do you think you can write something like this? Can, right? Mr. Pang showed you how easy it is, right? 4 paragraphs, each paragraph 10 minutes. The second paragraph maybe a few more minutes. The other few paragraphs maybe a few less minutes. But you can see it's easy to build, right? So you have the introduction, you have the problem, right? Or the rising action, and then the problem gets worse. And then you have the solution, and then you have the lesson learned and the end of the story, right? Yes, Isin, what is it? Did you raise your hand?
You didn't add the 2-figure spacing for the start of the paragraphs.
Okay, hold on now. Give me a minute now. Right, hold on now. I'll be right back now. Yes. Hold on. Sorry about the interruption. Okay. Yes, sorry. Yes. 2-finger spacing, right? Okay, thank you for reminding me. So I'm going to insert the 2-finger spacing. That's the advantage of using Microsoft Word, right? I can just insert the 2-finger spacing so that I don't forget it. Thank you very much. Any other comments? Let's see. Titus?
You spelled kindness wrongly. You spelled kindness wrong.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Very good. Okay. Ericsha?
You forgot the S for the I thank my classmate, the prefect, and Mrs. Capybara to the prefect.
I forgot to put the what?
S to the prefect.
Was it more than one prefect? I thought at the beginning it was one prefect, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. So prefects, is it? Okay. Oh, sure. Okay. Prefects. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Ericsha. Okay. Andrea?
Why is favorite spelled wrongly?
No, favorite is not spelled wrongly. It's because it's British spelling. That's why the American spelling check is picking up on it, right? So it's nothing wrong with favorite. It's spelled correctly. Okay. I'm going to take it that that's it, right? Okay, because I don't want to hold you back for too long, okay? So basically, this is the form of the story. I will send this story to all of you, okay? So you all can have reference to it. And I want you to try to practice writing a version of your own version of the story, okay? I will add some vocabulary for you all to refer to, but use the same pictures and write your own version of the story. You can reference my story, you can use my vocabulary, but I want you to try to write your own version of the story, okay? So on SLS, I have put an assignment for you to do corrections for the celebration and for the incident at the beach. Okay, ignore the incident at the beach, do corrections, type your corrections for the celebration into the SLS, and then submit that one will do. Okay, that's your SLS. For physical copy, for those of you who want to do a practice, this is optional. You don't have to do this. Write another story, your own version of this story, right? And then bring it to me on Monday, and I will mark it and give you a score, okay, based on your own version of the story. But it's not compulsory, only if you want to. Compulsory is you must do corrections for a celebration. That one you must do by the end of this week. Okay, weekend, Sunday. But extra practice, use this picture to write your own composition. I'll send this to your parents and they will let you have a look at it. And then you can write it on a piece of paper and bring the foolscap paper to pass to me on Monday, right? You can follow some elements of my story. You can change it, tweak it so that it becomes your own. But I want you to practice writing your own version so you get the idea about how to structure your flow. 5 minutes, okay? So remember at the end, we did use 5 minutes to check our work, right? Then we made some corrections to it, right? Okay, same thing in the exams. I want you to leave 5 minutes at the end for you to do the same as what you did just now, okay? And remember, one last point to make before I end today's Zoom, right? Tenses should always be in the past. Okay, past tense. You cannot use present tense. You look at every verb that is in my story. It's all in the past tense. Okay. Yes, Christobel?
Can I type it out?
Then print it out. Yeah, sure, you can do that. All right. But I want a physical copy, right? Yes, Andrea?
For the corrections, do we need to copy the one that you wrote?
I want you to respond to the comments that I wrote in your composition, right? And then try to change it so that it becomes a better version, okay? Get used to responding to my comments. If you're not sure what I wrote, you can always check with me or with your parents, okay? I've sent a copy to your parents as well, a soft copy to all of them, okay? Ken, all of you should have received the celebration, the soft copy as well as the hard copy, except for Gautam. Gautam, I'll send you the soft copy, okay? Once I'm done with it, because Gautam, you were absent on that day. Okay, everybody, all good? Any questions at all? If not, then thank you for spending 45 minutes with me today. I was true to my promise. We started at 11:05. It's now 11:50. Okay, thank you very much. Good job, everybody. I will not see you until Monday. Okay, enjoy your weekend and the rest of your Children's Day holiday today. Sorry we don't have time to play Lookat today. It's a bit short now. Okay, but next time we will have Lookat. Okay, next Friday. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Good job.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
See y'all. I'm gonna stop the recording now. Bye.